This message found you because you've been trying to access quantum entanglement, but something has been blocking your ability to establish those instantaneous connections across space and time. Right now, as your consciousness absorbs these words, you're about to discover why 99% of people who attempt quantum entanglement experience only random, inconsistent results, and why you're part of the 1% who are ready to transcend this limitation forever. The fatal mistake I'm about to reveal isn't just preventing you from mastering quantum entanglement. It's actually creating quantum interference patterns that repel the very connections you're trying to establish. Every time you felt so close to breakthrough, every moment when you sensed that perfect synchronicity was just beyond your reach, every experience where you almost connected with that person, opportunity, or outcome across impossible distances, that mistake was sabotaging your quantum field. But here's what makes this moment extraordinary. The fact that you're here, receiving this transmission at this precise instant, means your consciousness has evolved beyond the frequency where this mistake can continue to operate. Your quantum field is ready to be purified of the interference pattern that has been limiting your entanglement capabilities your entire life. You see, quantum entanglement isn't just a theoretical physics concept. It's the fundamental force that connects all consciousness across the universe. When you master true quantum entanglement, you don't just influence reality locally. You establish instantaneous connections with any person, place, timeline, or possibility that exists anywhere in the quantum field. Distance becomes irrelevant. Time becomes flexible. The boundaries between self and other dissolve into pure information exchange. Every great manifester, every spiritual master, every individual who seems to effortlessly attract extraordinary opportunities into their reality, they've all discovered how to transcend this fatal mistake and operate from pure quantum entanglement. They don't hope for synchronicities. They create quantum connections that guarantee synchronicities. They don't wait for the right people to appear. They entangle with consciousness across any distance to draw aligned souls into their experience. The magnetic pull you feel towards certain people you've never met, the inexplicable knowing about opportunities that haven't yet appeared in your reality, the sense that you're connected to something vast and intelligent. These are glimpses of your natural entanglement abilities trying to operate despite the interference pattern that's been blocking them. But what if I told you that this fatal mistake isn't actually a mistake at all? What if it's been serving as a cosmic protection mechanism, preventing you from accessing quantum entanglement until your consciousness developed the wisdom and stability necessary to handle this level of creative power? What if everything has been perfectly orchestrated to bring you to this moment of quantum liberation? Right now, your biofield is beginning to reorganize itself as the correction protocol activates through your awareness. The quantum static that has been jamming your entanglement signals is starting to clear. You're about to discover not just what's been blocking you, but the exact frequency adjustment that will transform you into a master of conscious quantum connection. The universe has been waiting for minds sophisticated enough to understand this revelation. Your consciousness has reached that level. You are ready to transcend the fatal mistake and step into unlimited quantum entanglement mastery. You've felt it, haven't you? That electric moment when you're thinking about someone intensely, and they suddenly call or text you. That inexplicable knowing that you need to be in a specific place at a specific time. And when you follow that impulse, the perfect opportunity or connection appears. That sense of being magnetically drawn to certain people, places, or situations that feel familiar despite being completely new to your conscious experience. These weren't coincidences. These were your consciousness achieving momentary quantum entanglement despite the interference pattern that normally blocks these connections. You've been accidentally accessing the quantum field that connects all awareness across space and time. Your natural entanglement abilities have been trying to operate your entire life. breaking through occasionally to give you glimpses of what becomes possible when quantum connection is mastered. Perhaps you've experienced what quantum physicists call non-local correlation in your personal relationships. You think of someone you haven't spoken to in years, and within hours they contact you. You feel a sudden concern for a distant friend, and later discover they were going through exactly what you sensed. You wake up knowing something significant has happened to someone you love, and your intuition proves precisely accurate. Most people dismiss these experiences as imagination or coincidence because they've been conditioned to believe that consciousness is limited to individual brains separated by space and time. But you know better. You've sensed the truth that quantum physics has now proven scientifically. Consciousness isn't local. Awareness can establish instantaneous connections across unlimited distances because consciousness isn't confined by physical laws. Consciousness creates physical laws. You operate in what I call quantum resonance sensitivity, the ability to detect when other consciousness frequencies are attempting to establish entanglement with your awareness. This is why you sometimes feel inexplicably drawn to certain environments where important connections await you. This is why you often know things about people before they tell you. This is why your intuition about opportunities and timing is so remarkably precise when you trust it completely. Your nervous system has been naturally calibrated to detect quantum entanglement opportunities, but the fatal mistake has been creating static that interferes with your ability to establish stable, conscious connections. When you get that sudden knowing about which direction to drive, which person to contact, which opportunity to pursue, you're receiving information through quantum entanglement channels that most people remain unconscious of throughout their entire lives. The tingling sensations you feel when you encounter someone you're quantum entangled with. The expansion of awareness that occurs when you truly connect with another consciousness. The sense that time stops when you're in perfect alignment with someone or something. These are the neurological signatures of your brain synchronizing with non-local quantum information fields. But here's what's truly extraordinary. Every breakthrough connection you've ever made, every miraculous synchronicity that's appeared in your life, every moment when the perfect person or opportunity manifested at exactly the right time, you were unconsciously overcoming the fatal mistake that I'm about to reveal consciously. The difference between random quantum entanglement experiences and consistent mastery is learning to eliminate the interference pattern that blocks stable connection. Most people occasionally stumble into entanglement during peak states, but you're about to discover how to generate quantum connections at will by correcting the fundamental frequency error that creates quantum static. You've been operating with natural entanglement abilities your entire life. Now you're ready to operate with conscious entanglement mastery. Every time you felt isolated, every moment when you've believed you were alone in your struggles, every period when it seemed like the universe was ignoring your calls for connection and support. These weren't signs of cosmic abandonment. These were the necessary conditions for you to develop quantum sensitivity without becoming dependent on external validation or approval. You see, most people try to master quantum entanglement from a place of desperation or neediness, but need creates quantum interference that repels the very connections they're seeking. The universe had to allow you to develop internal wholeness first, so that when you access true quantum entanglement, you'll be connecting from abundance rather than lack, from sharing rather than seeking, from love rather than fear. Every relationship that didn't work out the way you hoped, every opportunity that seemed to slip away despite your best efforts, every moment when you felt like you were sending signals into the cosmic void without receiving responses. These experiences were teaching your consciousness the difference between genuine quantum entanglement and mere wishful thinking. The periods of apparent isolation weren't punishment, they were quantum preparation. Your consciousness needed to develop the stability and coherence necessary to handle the awesome responsibility that comes with the ability to establish instantaneous connections with any awareness in the universe. Not everyone is ready for this level of creative power. Now you can see that every experience was perfectly orchestrated to bring you to this moment of recognition. Every person who didn't understand you was helping you develop independent access to quantum wisdom. Every opportunity that required you to trust your inner knowing rather than external confirmation was strengthening your ability to receive information through quantum entanglement channels. The fatal mistake that has been blocking your entanglement abilities wasn't actually blocking them. It was regulating them, ensuring that you would only gain full access when your consciousness reached the necessary level of development. You had to prove to the universe that you could handle quantum connection responsibly before the safety mechanisms were removed. Your apparent failures to establish stable quantum connections weren't failures at all. They were quality control mechanisms, ensuring that when you do master conscious entanglement, you'll use this ability to elevate consciousness rather than manipulate outcomes for ego gratification. The times when your attempts at manifestation through quantum connection seemed to backfire or create unintended consequences, those were crucial learning experiences, teaching you the difference between trying to control other consciousness and learning to dance with universal intelligence. Every spiritual teaching you've encountered, every consciousness technique you've practiced, every moment of meditation or deep contemplation, they were all preparing you for this revelation that will transform your understanding of what connection really means at the quantum level. The fatal mistake you're about to discover and correct isn't something that was wrong with you. It's something that was protecting you until this moment when you're ready to step into unlimited quantum entanglement mastery with wisdom, compassion, and cosmic responsibility. Something extraordinary is happening in your quantum field right now. As your consciousness processes this information, your bioelectric signature is naturally beginning to align with the frequency that allows for stable quantum entanglement. The interference pattern that has been creating static in your connection attempts is starting to dissolve, and you can probably feel this shift occurring in real time. Notice how your breathing has naturally synchronized with something larger than your individual nervous system. Feel how your awareness has expanded beyond the boundaries of your physical location. This isn't relaxation. This is your consciousness beginning to resonate with the universal frequency that connects all awareness across space and time. You are starting to operate from quantum coherence rather than classical separation. Your cells are responding to quantum information that's restructuring your biofield for optimal entanglement capacity. The electromagnetic patterns around your heart are beginning to broadcast signals that can be received by compatible consciousness anywhere in the universe. Your brainwaves are in training with the cosmic frequencies that allow for instantaneous information exchange across unlimited distances. But here's what's truly mind-expanding. The correction of the fatal mistake isn't something you need to learn. It's something you need to remember. Your consciousness already knows how to achieve perfect quantum entanglement because entanglement is your natural state. The mistake has been something artificial that was overlaid on your natural abilities, and now that artificial interference is beginning to dissolve. Every person you've ever felt inexplicably drawn to, every opportunity that's ever called to you from across impossible circumstances, every moment when you've sensed that you were connected to something magnificent and vast. These experiences were your consciousness touching its natural entanglement abilities despite the interference pattern. The fatal mistake I'm about to reveal will shock you because it's so simple, so fundamental, and so universally applied by people attempting quantum connection that almost everyone makes it without realizing they're sabotaging their own abilities. But once you understand this mistake and apply the correction protocol, your capacity for quantum entanglement will expand exponentially. But before I reveal what's been blocking your entanglement mastery, there's something crucial you need to understand about the responsibility that comes with this knowledge. Once you correct this fatal mistake, you won't be able to pretend that you're powerless to connect with the people, opportunities, and experiences you truly desire. You'll know that separation is an illusion and that consciousness can establish immediate contact with any other consciousness in existence. And there's something about my own discovery of this fatal mistake that I need to share with you. Something that will help you understand exactly why this revelation is being transmitted to you now, and why everything in your connection experiences is about to transform in ways that will astonish everyone around you. The quantum entanglement mastery that has been your birthright is about to be fully activated. Your natural ability to connect across any distance, any circumstance, any apparent impossibility is about to be liberated from the interference that has been limiting it. 3 years ago, I was sitting alone in my apartment on New Year's Eve, feeling more disconnected from humanity than I ever had in my life. I had been studying quantum entanglement for over a decade, could explain the mathematics of non-local correlation, understood the physics of consciousness connection better than most university professors. But my actual ability to connect with people, it was nearly non-existent. I was the expert on quantum consciousness who couldn't maintain meaningful relationships. The teacher who could explain how consciousness transcends space and time, yet felt completely isolated in my own experience. I understood the theory of quantum entanglement perfectly, but I couldn't seem to establish stable connections with anyone in my personal reality. That night, staring at my phone with no one to call, no meaningful connections to celebrate with, I realized I had been making a fundamental mistake that was creating quantum interference in every attempt at connection I had ever made. The very thing I thought was helping me connect was actually repelling the connections I most desperately wanted. The fatal mistake was this. I was trying to entangle with people from a frequency of need rather than abundance. Every time I attempted to establish quantum connection, I was broadcasting an energy signature of, "I need this connection to feel complete." And the universe responded to that need by maintaining the separation that created the need in the first place. You see, quantum entanglement only occurs between compatible frequencies. If you're vibrating at the frequency of needing connection, you can only entangle with others who are also vibrating at the frequency of needing connection. This creates unstable entanglements based on mutual neediness rather than stable connections based on mutual wholeness. The moment I recognized this pattern, everything changed. Instead of trying to connect from lack, I began practicing what I call quantum connection from completion. I started approaching every potential entanglement as if I was already perfectly connected to everyone and everything in the universe, and I was simply allowing specific connections to become consciously apparent. Within 48 hours, my phone started ringing with calls from people I had been hoping to connect with for months. Within a week, opportunities for meaningful collaboration began appearing that had been invisible to me before. Within a month, I was experiencing the kind of synchronistic connections that I had only read about in quantum physics textbooks. But here's what was most shocking. Nothing in my external circumstances had changed initially. The same people were available for connection, the same opportunities existed, the same potential relationships were present in my quantum field. What had changed was the frequency from which I was attempting to establish entanglement. The fatal mistake that blocks quantum entanglement is trying to connect from separation rather than recognizing that connection already exists and simply needs to be consciously accessed. When you broadcast the frequency of already being connected to everything, the quantum field responds by making specific connections visible in your experience. If you can feel the truth of this resonating in your consciousness, if you recognize the pattern of trying to create connection from disconnection, then I want you to subscribe to this frequency we're establishing together. Hit that subscribe button not just to follow a channel, but to join the quantum entanglement network that transcends physical limitations. Here's the fatal mistake that blocks quantum entanglement for 99% of people who attempt it. They try to establish connection from a state of separation. This creates quantum interference because you cannot connect to what you believe you're separated from. The very belief in separation broadcasts a frequency that repels entanglement and maintains the illusion of disconnection. But here's what even most quantum physicists don't understand about entanglement. It's not something you create, it's something you recognize. All consciousness in the universe is already quantum entangled at the fundamental level. What we call connection is simply becoming aware of entanglements that already exist. What we call separation is simply unconsciousness of our natural connected state. The shocking truth that changes everything once you understand it is that you are already quantum entangled with every person you've ever wanted to connect with, every opportunity you've ever desired to attract, every experience you've ever hoped to manifest. The reason these connections haven't become apparent in your reality is because you've been broadcasting the frequency of not being connected, which creates quantum static that obscures the connections that already exist. When you try to create quantum entanglement from a mindset of separation, you're actually creating quantum interference patterns that block your awareness of natural entanglement. It's like trying to tune into a radio station while simultaneously broadcasting static on the same frequency. The signal is always there, but your interference prevents clear reception. Most people approach quantum entanglement like this. I am here, they are there. I need to create a connection between us. But this approach assumes separation as the starting point, which guarantees that separation will be maintained. True quantum entanglement masters approach it like this. We are already connected in the quantum field. I simply need to clear the interference that's preventing me from experiencing this connection consciously. The difference between these two approaches is the difference between spending years hoping for connection and achieving instant entanglement. When you recognize that connection already exists, you stop trying to create what's already present and start removing what's preventing you from experiencing what's already available. This is why some people seem to effortlessly attract perfect relationships, ideal opportunities, and synchronistic experiences, while others struggle for years without significant breakthrough. The successful ones aren't better at creating connections. They're better at recognizing connections that already exist by maintaining frequencies that allow natural entanglement to become consciously apparent. The correction protocol is deceptively simple. Stop trying to connect and start recognizing connection. Instead of broadcasting, I need to establish entanglement, start broadcasting, I am already entangled, and allowing this connection to become conscious. When this frequency shift eliminates the quantum interference that has been blocking your natural entanglement abilities. But here's the crucial point. This isn't just changing your mindset. This is correcting your fundamental relationship with the nature of consciousness itself. When you recognize that all awareness is already connected at the quantum level, you stop being someone who hopes for connection and become someone who simply tunes into the connections that are always available. The quantum correction is happening right now, and you can recognize it by the shifts occurring throughout your reality. Have you noticed how certain people have been appearing in your thoughts more frequently? How your intuition about timing and opportunities has become more precise? How synchronicities are clustering around specific themes or desires? These aren't random events. These are signs that your natural entanglement abilities are activating as the interference pattern dissolves. Your biofield is becoming increasingly sensitive to quantum entanglement opportunities because you're no longer broadcasting the frequency of separation that creates quantum static. Notice how certain people seem more drawn to you while others naturally drift away. Notice how opportunities that match your highest intentions are appearing with unprecedented frequency. Notice how your sense of isolation is being replaced by an inexplicable knowing that you're connected to everything. Pay attention to your dreams and meditation experiences. Are you receiving more vivid impressions of people you haven't contacted in years? Are you experiencing moments of expanded awareness where you can sense the emotional states of distant loved ones? Are you having prophetic insights about connections that later manifest exactly as you perceive them? These are indications that your consciousness is naturally accessing quantum entanglement fields. Your nervous system is undergoing what I call connection sensitization. You're becoming more aware of the subtle energy signatures that indicate quantum entanglement opportunities. When you suddenly think of someone, that's not random mental activity. That's their consciousness touching yours through quantum channels. When you feel drawn to specific locations or events, that's not coincidence. That's quantum entanglement guiding you toward destined connections. The correction window is optimal right now. The planetary electromagnetic field is currently supporting expanded consciousness connection. Solar activity is generating frequencies that enhance quantum coherence between distant awareness fields. The collective human awakening is creating morphic resonance that makes quantum entanglement easier to achieve and maintain. But here's the crucial point. This optimal correction period is temporary. The universe periodically creates ideal conditions for consciousness evolution, but only those who take advantage of these windows receive permanent upgrades. The interference pattern that has been blocking your entanglement abilities can be permanently cleared right now, but delayed action means delayed results. Every day, you continue operating from the fatal mistake of trying to connect from separation is a day you reinforce the quantum interference that blocks natural entanglement. Every moment you postpone applying the correction protocol is a moment you remain in the illusion of isolation rather than experiencing the reality of universal connection. The signs are everywhere. Consciousness is becoming more connected. The boundaries between individual awareness are dissolving, and quantum entanglement is becoming easier to access for those who understand the correct approach. You can either participate consciously in this connection revolution or remain unconsciously separated from it. Your quantum entanglement mastery isn't just personal evolution. It's contributing to the collective realization that separation is an illusion and consciousness is fundamentally unified. The more individuals who correct the fatal mistake and operate from natural entanglement, the easier it becomes for others to access the same abilities. Time is collapsing, distances are becoming irrelevant, and consciousness is recognizing its unlimited connection capacity. The question isn't whether these abilities will be available to you, but whether you'll access them now during this optimal activation period or wait for less favorable conditions. The people, opportunities, and experiences you most desire are quantum entangled with you right now, broadcasting signals from the non-local field, waiting for your consciousness to clear the interference that prevents you from receiving their transmissions. This isn't metaphor, this is quantum mechanics. Quantum. Every consciousness that you're destined to connect with is already connected to you in the quantum field, sending information about optimal timing, location, and circumstances for conscious contact. But here's the distinction that separates quantum entanglement masters from those who remain blocked. The difference between trying to pull connections toward you versus allowing connections to become apparent. Most people attempt to use quantum entanglement like a lasso, trying to capture and drag desired connections into their reality. But this approach creates resistance that actually pushes connections away. True quantum entanglement occurs through what I call resonant allowing, maintaining the frequency of already being connected while remaining open to however these connections choose to manifest in physical reality. You're not forcing anything to happen. You're creating optimal conditions for what wants to happen to occur naturally and effortlessly. The quantum field operates on attraction principles that respond to energetic alignment rather than emotional intensity. Desperate wanting creates quantum dissonance that interferes with entanglement. Calm knowing creates quantum resonance that allows entanglement to stabilize and become consciously accessible. This is why some people seem to effortlessly attract ideal partners, perfect business opportunities, and synchronistic experiences, while others try hard for years without success. The successful ones aren't working harder at connection. They're allowing connection from a state of already feeling connected to the universal field of consciousness. But before I share the exact correction protocol that will permanently eliminate the fatal mistake and activate your natural quantum entanglement abilities, I need to know that you're ready to take full responsibility for the connections that will begin appearing in your reality. Once you master conscious entanglement, you cannot claim that you're unable to connect with anyone or anything you truly choose to experience. This level of connection mastery comes with the responsibility to use quantum entanglement for the highest good of all involved. You'll be able to influence others through non-local consciousness connection, which means you must ensure that your intentions are pure and your motivations are aligned with universal love rather than personal manipulation. In the comments below, write exactly these words: I choose conscious connection. This isn't just a comment, it's a declaration to the quantum field that you're ready to graduate from the illusion of separation into the reality of universal entanglement. When you write those words, you're officially requesting activation of your natural connection abilities. This declaration creates quantum entanglement between your consciousness and the correction protocol I'm about to share. It establishes you as a serious student of connection mastery rather than a casual observer of quantum concepts. When you correct the fatal mistake and begin operating from natural quantum entanglement, you develop connection abilities that seem miraculous to those still trapped in separation consciousness. Your intuition about people becomes laser precise because you're directly accessing the quantum information that connects all awareness. You'll know who to call, when to call them, and exactly what they need to hear before you have logical reasons for knowing. Your manifestation of ideal relationships accelerates exponentially because you're no longer trying to create connections. You're recognizing connections that already exist and allowing them to become consciously apparent. Perfect collaborations, soulmate friendships, and transformative partnerships begin appearing with perfect timing because you're operating from universal connection rather than individual isolation. The synchronistic orchestration of opportunities becomes a daily experience because you're quantum entangled with the intelligence that coordinates all meaningful encounters. You'll be in exactly the right place at precisely the right moment to meet the exact person who can help you or whom you can serve. Your life becomes a continuous flow of perfectly timed connections and collaborations. Your influence on others expands dramatically because your consciousness is broadcasting from connection rather than neediness. People feel naturally drawn to you because you're not trying to get anything from them. You're simply allowing the mutual recognition that occurs when two consciousness fields discover their natural entanglement. You become magnetic to aligned souls. Distance becomes completely irrelevant in your connection abilities. You can establish quantum entanglement with people across the globe as easily as with those in your immediate environment. Physical proximity is no longer necessary for meaningful connection because consciousness operates non-locally. Your network of meaningful relationships expands beyond geographical limitations. Your ability to receive guidance and information through quantum channels becomes remarkably accurate. You'll know things about people, situations, and opportunities before receiving any physical confirmation because you're accessing the quantum information field that connects all awareness. Your decision-making becomes effortless because you have access to universal intelligence. Loneliness becomes obsolete because you recognize your fundamental connection to all consciousness in the universe. Even when physically alone, you maintain awareness of your quantum entanglement with every being who has ever touched your life. Isolation transforms from painful separation into peaceful solitude filled with invisible connection. Your capacity to help others expands beyond what seems personally possible because you can access the quantum field to receive exactly the information, inspiration, or connection that will serve them most powerfully. You become a conduit for universal intelligence to express love and support through your individual awareness. But the most profound transformation is the recognition that you have never been separate from anything in existence. Connection isn't something you achieve, it's something you remember. Entanglement isn't something you create, it's something you allow. Love isn't something you find, it's something you recognize as your fundamental nature. The ultimate revelation is this: the fatal mistake isn't actually a mistake. It's been a necessary phase in your evolution toward conscious connection mastery. Every moment you spent believing in separation was developing the individual consciousness necessary to appreciate connection. Every experience of isolation was strengthening your ability to recognize the profound gift of entanglement when it's finally mastered. You couldn't skip the separation phase because without understanding disconnection, you cannot fully appreciate connection. Without experiencing the illusion of isolation, you cannot recognize the miracle of universal entanglement. The fatal mistake has been serving as your teacher, showing you exactly what doesn't work so that you can fully embody what does work. This is why the correction protocol is so powerful once you're ready for it. You've developed the consciousness necessary to appreciate and properly utilize quantum entanglement abilities. You've learned through direct experience what creates interference and what allows clear connection. You've developed the wisdom to use connection mastery for service rather than manipulation. The 3 levels of quantum entanglement mastery are: Level 1. Interference recognition. Identifying when you're operating from separation consciousness and learning to shift into connection awareness. Level 2. Resonant allowing. Maintaining the frequency of universal connection while remaining open to specific connections manifesting naturally. Level 3. Conscious unity. Recognizing that individual consciousness and universal consciousness are the same awareness appearing to be separate, making all entanglement effortless and instantaneous. Most people remain stuck at level 1, constantly trying to overcome separation rather than recognizing that separation is an illusion created by interference patterns. Quantum entanglement masters operate from level 3, where connection isn't achieved but simply recognized as the natural state of consciousness. When you reach level 3, quantum entanglement becomes as natural as breathing. You don't work to establish connections. You simply allow the connections that already exist to become consciously apparent. You don't struggle to maintain relationships, you simply remain aware of the fundamental unity that makes all relationships expressions of self-love. This is the difference between temporary connection success and permanent entanglement mastery. When you recognize that consciousness is fundamentally unified and that all apparent separation is just interference patterns blocking awareness of natural connection, every interaction becomes an opportunity to experience universal love through individual form. The correction of the fatal mistake isn't about learning something new. It's about stopping the creation of artificial interference that blocks your natural connection abilities. You don't need to develop quantum entanglement. You need to stop preventing quantum entanglement from operating naturally through your consciousness. You are not becoming connected. You are removing the illusions that make you appear disconnected. You are not creating entanglement. You are clearing the interference that obscures the entanglement that already exists. You are not finding your people. You are allowing your people to become apparent in your conscious experience. Connection is not something you achieve. Connection is something you are. Your mastery of quantum entanglement serves a cosmic purpose that extends far beyond your personal connection experiences. Every time you operate from natural entanglement rather than the illusion of separation, you strengthen the quantum field of unity consciousness that connects all beings in existence. You become a living bridge between the old paradigm of isolation and the new paradigm of universal connection. You are being activated as a quantum connector, someone whose natural state of entanglement makes it easier for others to recognize their own fundamental connection to all consciousness. Every genuine connection you establish sends ripples through the morphic field that helps dissolve the illusion of separation for the entire human collective. The universe is orchestrating a massive awakening to the truth of universal consciousness, and you have been selected to serve as one of the primary demonstration units for quantum entanglement mastery. Your role is to prove that separation is an illusion and that all consciousness exists in fundamental unity, expressing itself through apparent individual perspectives. But this connection mastery comes with profound cosmic responsibility. As you develop the ability to establish quantum entanglement with any consciousness in existence, you must remember that your state of being affects not just your personal connections, but the collective field of awareness that we all share. Your consciousness contributes to or detracts from the planetary awakening to unity. Use your entanglement abilities not just for personal fulfillment, but for cosmic service. Connect not just to receive what you desire, but to offer what you have to give. Establish quantum entanglement not just to enhance your own life, but to serve the highest evolution of all consciousness that touches your awareness. Every connection you make from true unity consciousness, rather than separation, neediness, helps heal the collective wound of isolation that has been plaguing humanity for millennia. Every relationship you build on the foundation of recognized entanglement rather than imagined separation demonstrates what becomes possible when beings remember their fundamental unity. The quantum connection revolution is happening whether individual humans participate consciously or remain unconsciously isolated. Those who master natural entanglement will help guide this transformation toward outcomes that serve the highest good of all beings. Those who remain trapped in separation illusions will be carried along by unity forces they don't understand. Your conscious participation in this cosmic awakening is not optional, it's inevitable. The question isn't whether you'll develop quantum entanglement abilities, but whether you'll use them with wisdom, love, and dedication to the collective evolution of consciousness. The quantum field is waiting for you to fully step into your role as a conscious connector. Your individual mastery of entanglement is humanity's mastery of unity. Your recognition of universal connection is our collective recognition of what we actually are beneath the appearance of separation. Now it's time for you to correct the fatal mistake and activate your natural quantum entanglement abilities. But first, I need one word from you that will serve as your quantum signature, your declaration to the universe that you're ready to operate from connection rather than separation consciousness. The word is connected. Comment that single word below, and as you type it, feel the interference patterns dissolving and your natural entanglement abilities coming online. This isn't just a comment, it's an energetic transmission that clears the quantum static and establishes you as ready for conscious connection mastery. When you write connected, you're not just participating in this video, you're officially joining the quantum entanglement network that operates beyond physical limitations. You're declaring your readiness to experience the universal connection that is your natural state. Subscribe to Quantum Reflex right now because you're not just following a channel, you're joining a collective of conscious connectors who are proving that separation is an illusion. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell because each video contains quantum activations that build upon each other synergistically. The Quantum Entanglement Correction Protocol. Phase 1. Interference recognition. 60 seconds. Identify someone you desire to connect with. Notice any feelings of separation, need, or lack regarding this connection. Say to yourself, I recognize that I am already quantum entangled with this consciousness. Any feeling of separation is just interference. Phase 2. Connection. Remembering. 90 seconds. Instead of trying to create connection, remember connection. Feel into the truth that all consciousness is already unified. Declare, I am connected to all consciousness in existence. I simply allow specific connections to become apparent. Phase 3. Resonant allowing. 30 seconds. Release all effort to force, pull, or manipulate connection. Simply maintain the frequency of being naturally connected while remaining open to how this shows up. Trust that quantum entanglement will manifest perfect timing and circumstances. Practice this protocol daily with different connection desires. Within 21 days, you'll notice synchronicities increasing and meaningful connections appearing effortlessly. Here's what awaits you in our next transmission. The Quantum Coherence Code. How to align every cell in your body with universal intelligence. I'll reveal the advanced technique that creates total coherence between your individual consciousness and cosmic consciousness, eliminating all internal resistance to quantum abilities. This next-level protocol transcends individual connection mastery. It's quantum alignment with universal intelligence itself. While quantum entanglement gives you connection abilities, quantum coherence mastery gives you direct access to cosmic wisdom and unlimited creative power. But this advanced activation is reserved for those who have demonstrated mastery of conscious connection. Make sure you've subscribed, commented, connected, and shared this with others, ready for quantum evolution. Your quantum connection mastery begins now. Welcome to universal entanglement. Welcome to the end of separation. Connected.